CBS News.
570 WNAX News. Good afternoon. I'm Lacey Kuntz at 4:05. Currently 59 degrees and raining. And we'll see those occasional showers and a possible thunderstorm continue through this late afternoon and tonight also. And we should see gradual clearing with a low around 44 tonight. Tomorrow, sunshine with a high near 72. Friday, mostly sunny, a high near 74. And Saturday, more sunshine with a high near 70. Today is Winter Weather Awareness Day in South Dakota, a day to think about what you need to do to your home and vehicle to get ready for the cold and snow we'll see at some point. Todd Heidkamp at the National Weather Service in Sioux Falls said the initial winter outlook for the region calls for milder temperatures, but more snow.
Well, right now, I think the way the weather pattern has been unfolding here of late, I think we're going to have temperatures above normal here in the tri-state area. And with that, when you have a little bit warmer temperatures, the air is able to handle a little or hold a little bit more moisture. So with having said that, I think we're probably going to have probably about normal is slightly above normal precipitation amounts for snow. So I don't think it's going to be as bad as what we saw last year as far as the cold is concerned, that's for sure.
He says they still expect an El Nino to develop in the Pacific Ocean, which will impact winter weather in the northern plains. A TransCanada executive denies an ambitious new project by the company is being undertaken as an alternative to the Keystone XL pipeline. Approval of Keystone XL has been delayed for years. TransCanada now awaits a decision on its route through Nebraska from the state Supreme Court. Vice President for the Keystone Pipeline Project, Corey Goulet, says the proposed 3,000-mile oil pipeline that would span Canada is not a replacement for Keystone XL.
We've received commitments from different customers to ship on each of these pipelines.
Goulet says if there is an alternative to Keystone XL, TransCanada's customers have already taken it.
Well, certainly we've seen one of the alternatives to Keystone, and that's that our customers, the oil producers, are shipping more crude by rail. And that's increased dramatically both in Canada as well in the U.S. in the last couple of years, as everyone knows.
Energy East is a proposed 3,000-mile pipeline that would stretch from western to eastern Canada. South Dakota Senator Tim Johnson and U.S. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Julian Castro visited the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation Tuesday, where they met with tribal leaders, toured the reservation to see the housing needs on Pine Ridge, and toured the Thunder Valley Community Development Corporation. It's the first trip to the reservation for the HUD Secretary. The two met with Ogallala Sioux tribal leaders and discussed the housing and economic development challenges people face in Indian country. Castro said the visit included a stop at a home with 13 residents and another with 16 or 17. The two also toured a straw-insulated home, a model for sustainable living created by the Thunder Valley Community Development Corporation.
There is a tremendous housing need here on the reservation, and so to the extent that you can get relatively low cost but quality affordable housing like this, that's a big victory for the residents of Pine Ridge.
The Thunder Valley project received just under $1 million 4 years ago as part of a grant through HUD and other federal agencies. Castro said he's glad to see it progressing, but knows the reservation has many other needs. Castro says the main purpose of his trip on Tuesday was to listen and learn so he can be mindful of those needs and what they are and work hard to find necessary resources to improve life on the reservation. For more news and information, go to the news page at WNAX.com or at 570 WNAX News on Twitter. At 4:09, currently 59 degrees and rainy. I'm Lacey Kuntz for 570 WNAX News.
From breaking news
Hey, we not already had officers there.
to the stories that touch us all.
I think we're all tired. We want to get home.
Get the latest from CBS and the award-winning WNAX News team only on 570 WNAX.
The founder of AgMasters, Terry Saveda, is creating quite a stir with Wall Street and his new venture, Decadian. Ask Terry, he'll explain why Main Street is controlled by Wall Street, why the system is rigged against hardworking Americans like you, while the top 1% are consistently generating 100% plus return.
I began working with the American farmer, providing them AgMasters market price forecasts. Today, I'm waging a national campaign to expose the truth about Wall Street. When you understand how the system really works, you can use it to your advantage. And with Decadian as a voice and a platform, this is now possible. The first advice I offer is stop using trading platforms and stop accepting single-digit returns as a way to succeed. This is about you, your life, and your family, and how you can prepare for a better future. What Decadian offers you today, you will not find anywhere else. Decadian was developed to give Main Street investors, people like you and I, the same knowledge and the same leveraged benefits that the elite, the top 1%, have.
RSVP today and join a great conversation and dinner at Decadian's Wealth Creating Seminar in Sioux City, Iowa at Bev's on the River on November 6th. When you RSVP, you'll receive your own personal issue of the Decadian Wealth Report. Call toll-free 844-332-2342 to reserve your seat or register online at Decadian.com. All wealth-building topics will be on the table, including learning the best way to add high-leveraged investments to your investment portfolio and how you can make Decadian your own personal investment advisor. It's just $50 at the door, but only $35 if you RSVP. Your spouse will receive a 50% discount either way. Dinner will be at 6 p.m. and seating is limited, so register now if you want to lock in this opportunity. Call now to lock in your savings and open the door to a new future. 844-DECADIAN. That's 844-332-2342. Call now.
Good afternoon. Check your WNEX Sports. I'm Eric Rosen. Well, on tap tonight to Game 2 of the best-of-7 series of the World Series as the Royals will send Orlando Ventura to the mound up against Jake Peavy. Ventura was 14-10 during the season and left his last start against the Royals in the ALCS with shoulder tightness. Peavy went 7 for 13, but has loads of postseason experience as this is his 8th playoff start. He pitched the world champion Red Sox last season. And federal agents have seized phony World Series tickets worth tens of thousands of dollars. Before the first game of the series between the Royals and the Giants yesterday, agents for Homeland Security nabbed 126 counterfeit game tickets. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement said in a news release that the tickets had a $43,000 street value. Other counterfeit items have been seized, including T-shirts, baseball caps, cell phone cases, sweatshirts, and even babies' clothing. And a prosecution request to remove the judge handling the felony child abuse case against Viking star running back Adrian Peterson has been denied. Montgomery County State District Judge Kelly Case will remain on the case following a recusal hearing today in suburban Houston. Retired Tarrant County District Judge Jeff Walker denied a request by the prosecutors who had accused Case of being biased against them. That's check your WNEX Sports on your home for Minnesota Vikings football.
Let me see if I have this straight. The southern border is leaking. Ebola cases sneak into the country. And our Homeland Security people are worried about counterfeit World Series tickets?
Yes. And there were even counterfeit panties, too, it says. We can't have counterfeit royal panties.
I just wanted to make sure we knew where priorities are. By the way, if you're considering fall pasture spraying, call Crop Care Aerial Spraying. They're serving Clay, Yankton, Dixon, and Cedar counties. Crop Care Aerial Spraying. Their phone number is 605-670-9703. That's 605-670-9703.
This is an Ag News update from 570 WNAX. South Dakota Farmers Union's Collegiate Club at South Dakota State University has decided to honor former U.S. Senator Larry Pressler by sponsoring him for the SDSU Hobo Days Homecoming Parade. Pressler, who is running as an independent candidate for the U.S. Senate this year, will take part in the parade Saturday, October 25th in Brookings. Collegiate Club President Miles Belas says Pressler was denied entry in the parade earlier due to lack of a sponsor, so his group moved forward in providing the needed sponsorship.
As a member of Farmers Union and being in the collegiate group, we just thought that we would justice and in supporting him. And Farmers Union thing is it gives an opportunity and a voice to people, who normally wouldn't have that opportunity.
Belas says another reason they decided to sponsor the former senator was his previous long service to the South Dakota Farmers Union Foundation.
Former Senator Pressler is a board of director for the South Dakota Farmers Union Foundation. That's another main reason why we decided to go ahead with this.
For more details, go to the Ag News page at WNAX.com.
Size does matter.
May I introduce
Your big friend, 570 WNAX.
Hey, is a PowerFlex HL really powerful and flexible?
Yep, gives winter wheat growers powerful weed control and rotational flexibility.
Powerful and flexible like a muscular slinky?
Not exactly.
Lumberjack after a yoga session?
Not even sure what that means.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah, look, you can learn all about PowerFlex HL at PowerFlexHL.com.
And that's like
It's a webpage on the internet.
Now you're speaking my language.
Dow AgroSciences, solutions for the growing world. Always read and follow label directions.
Butler Machinery wants you to think big about your future. Butler Machinery is currently taking applications for Think Big, a college diesel program for technicians at Lake Area Tech in Watertown and NDSCS in Wahpeton. Think Big is a 2-year diesel technician program providing hands-on experience and an internship paying over $17 per hour. Students also earn an associate's degree and are guaranteed a technician position at a Butler Machinery location upon successful completion of the program. If you want to be a diesel technician, apply today at butlermachinery.com.
At Billion Toyota, the 2015s are rolling in, and the 2014s must go. Big factory rebates on all remaining 2014s makes October a great time to buy. We have hundreds to choose from. New Avalons, Priuses, Venzas, and Tundras, all marked at rock bottom prices. If you're looking for certified pre-owned, we have hundreds of local trades. Credit issues? We'd like to help you get into a new Toyota. Shop our Toyota's Gotta Go sale at Billion Toyota or BillionAuto.com.
Coming up this Thursday, October 23rd, 2014, all at Mobridge Livestock, big special calf sale at 9 o'clock in the morning. Sure show you 6,500 calves in the offering. Here's McGinnis 450, Shar Angus Cross, Linscove Field Genetics 5 to 600, Dushin Mauer 550, Shar Angus Cross, Linscove Field Genetics 5 to 6 and a quarter, Winding Water 420, Red Angus Shar Cross calves 6 to 700, Linscove 375, Shar Angus calves, Linscove Field Genetics 5 to 600, Stark Ranch 350, Black Quality 450 to 575. Brosh 350 Black Angus 4 to 500. Here's Johnson 320 Black Angus drug free 450 to 550. Pyramid 300 blacks 475 to 575. Two Bears 300 black calves 500 pounds. Lawrence 275 black calves 475 to 6 and a quarter. Porcupine District 250 black calves 550 to 600. Gross 200 black and Shark Cross 5 and a quarter to 6 and a quarter. Sandland 200 blacks 450 to 550. Moment 190 Black Angus 475 to 550 plus many more. That's for more information, go to MobridgeLivestock.com. Call 800-658-3598. That's all this coming Thursday, October 23rd, 9 o'clock in the morning, 6,500 head of calves, all at Mobridge Livestock.
If you need silage tarps for your operation, call Koima Company in Rock Valley, Iowa. Koima Company has silage tarps in stock. High-quality silage tarps in a variety of sizes to fit every need on your farm. Call Koima Company today at 800-522-8874 for a great selection of quality silage tarps and replacement harvester parts. Call Koima Company at 800-522-8874. That's 800-522-8874.
Time to take a look at that dependable WNAX weather forecast. We will see showers and maybe a thunderstorm the rest of the afternoon, 80% chance wherever you are. Tonight, occasional showers, possibly a thunderstorm in the early evening, then the chances kind of diminish as the night goes on. The low tonight will be 44. Tomorrow, sunny, 72. Friday, mostly sunny, 74. Great weekend. 70 on Saturday, mostly sunny, and 70 again on Sunday. And then for Monday and Tuesday, we get into slight chances of rain with, high temperature Monday 63 and Tuesday 56 degrees. Right now, we do have a rain shower going on outside the studio. Your temperature is 59 degrees.
Season after season, the weather you need on your big friend. 570 WNAX.
And it is a Wednesday edition of Drive Time. Lacey is sitting to my left. Eric sitting across from me. And I'm sitting, in the chair I'm sitting in. Welcome to the program. Our telephone number, 800-367-9629, WNAX if you would like to be on the program. So, Eric, during sports, you were talking about the stuff that the Immigration and Customs people and Homeland Security had taken that were counterfeit items.
Yeah.
You know, when Crawford and I were at the All-Star game in Minneapolis, we were trying to find counterfeit merchandise because we didn't want to pay full price. And we couldn't find any. But apparently in Kansas City, they actually had some.
Yes. T-shirts, baseball caps, cell phone cases, sweatshirts, even panties.
And speaking of the panties, there was a lady who has a store. This wasn't outside the stadium or anything, but she designed the panties, according to the Kansas City Star, as a hand-drawn design. And she figured, just celebrate. It says, take the crown with a KC logo that's close to the Kansas City logo. And the reason it's close is because the two letters are connected, the K and the C. And so apparently if she had left a gap right in the center there where a gap would belong between the K and the C,
she'd have been all right.
She might have been okay. But they went ahead and took all of the stuff. They placed the underwear in an official Homeland Security bag and had Honig sign a statement that she wouldn't use the logo. And again, does Homeland Security have anything better to do? I'm just asking, do they have anything better to do? So anyway, Crawford has been all over me all day. He's not only making fun of me on the air, but he has been posting on Facebook on ex-coworkers' walls, people that we all used to work together, about the fact that I went to bed last night after about 6 innings.
Fred.
What was the score after 6 innings?
Now, what happens if they would have came back?
Then I would have been thrilled this morning.
You call yourself a Royals fan.
You see?
Why don't you go buy yourself a fake pair of Royals panties? Put them on and watch game 2 until about 8:30.
No. I made it to 10 o'clock.
Oh.
It's not my fault that they start these games so late. I've got to get up in the morning, as does the other guy that Crawford was.
29 years.
Yeah.
Don't you think you could give 2 or 3 nights to your favorite baseball team?
Aren't there 6 more games, possibly?
I don't know. Not if they play the way they played last night.
I said possibly. So, and then, I admitted to Crawford, I probably won't watch Saturday night's game at all. Because my wife and I will be going out. It is our date night day, whatever.
Should be date night in.
No.
29 years.
First of all, game 4 is not going to be an elimination game. And if it is an elimination game, I'm not going to want to watch it at that point, okay? Because it'll mean Crawford was right about a sweep, possibly. And I don't want that to happen. And so if that's the case, I would rather not watch if we get to Saturday. And we've got, dinner planned and other stuff. And
just head to a sports bar.
Well,
you can watch the game and have dinner.
Well, that's the thing. We're going to Sioux Falls, and the place that I'm going, there are TVs available. So I'm not going to miss the whole game, but I'm also not just going to sit on my couch and be a couch potato. I have a life to live. Right?
Fairweather fan. What? 29 years, Fred, you've waited for this.
But that doesn't make me a Fairweather fan. It makes me a fan who has other priorities in life besides just the game.
You should be sitting at home glued to the TV, as Lacey will be.
I mean, it's not like I could get a ticket like the guy in the Marlins jersey who was behind home plate.
Yeah.
Also, according to the Kansas City Star, the Royals tried to bribe him out of the seat.
Yeah, box seats.
They offered him luxury box. Yep. They offered him merchandise, World Series merchandise, not the fake stuff, the real stuff, which nobody can afford to act. Well, I guess he could afford the ticket. Yeah.
$8,000 for the ticket.
But you know what? I kind of like Marlins, man.
Did you say $8,000?
$8,000 for the ticket behind home plate.
Yeah, because the cheapest ticket was like $600.
And he's going to be there tonight again.
Is he mentally stable?
No, he just has more money than
He's not married, so he doesn't have a wife.
What are you insinuating by that, Eric?
And he doesn't have, he actually said that. He said he has no wife, he has no kids.
Just that he has no responsibilities.
To spend his money on.
Yeah.
So he flies all over the country. Like a month ago, out of 20 nights, he was at like 18 professional sporting events.
And he can afford to pay the tickets, for the price of the ticket for the best seat in the house.
Because he doesn't have a wife.
$8,000 ticket?
Are you saying that wives are expensive?
I think that's what he said.
That's what I'm asking. If you're insinuating
I'm disagreeing with him.
Anyway, game 2 tonight, but we'll see what kind of mood I'm in tomorrow when we do the show. We'll check in with the Wall Street Journal report. Tom will have your markets, Lacey with news. It's all coming up as we continue with Drive Time on 570 WNAX.
Tackle tough chores in comfort and control with an easy-to-operate John Deere 6D Series utility tractor. And now, during our Gear Up for Fall sales event, you can get 0% financing for 60 months or $3,000 cash off the hardworking 6D. Come in today and save. Offer ends October 31st, 2014, subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Stop by James River Equipment in Madison or Huron today, or visit us online at jrequip.com.
Almost 4,000 spring calves, 800 red Angus steers, and breedable red heifers Thursday, October 23rd at Ballantine Livestock, offering 100% documented preconditioned programs, fully vaccinated. Genetics from nationally recognized seed stock producers. Thursday, October 23rd, 4,000 spring calves, 800 red Angus plus Shark Cross, Black Cross, several groups of breedable heifers. Almost 4,000 Thursday, October 23rd at Ballantine Livestock.
Billion Fiat is the newest car franchise in Sioux Falls, and most people have never seen a new Fiat. If you're in the market for a new car, come to Billion Fiat and take a look for yourself. This is Dwayne Mellema. We have every available model in both the new 500 two-door and the much larger 500L four-door. Fiats are sporty, safe, and fun to drive. They have a great warranty and even cover your maintenance for the first 3 years. Now, for the month of October, we're doing Billion employee pricing on all new Fiats in stock. Billion Fiat in Sioux Falls or at billionauto.com.
The most experience, the best installation, and the best products on the market. It's what you get with Emker Insulation. For over 30 years, Emker Insulation has delivered on a solid promise of commitment to be the foremost and innovative insulation experts. So for a new or an existing home, business, or agricultural building, get the qualified specialists working for you. Emker Insulation. Call Emker Insulation 712-722-3903. Or better yet, visit emkerinsulation.com. That's YMKER insulation.com.
The days are getting shorter, but the savings at Max Hardware are growing, especially now during the Max Fall Sale. A DeWalt grinder is just $69.99. Haviland antifreeze is only $6.99 a gallon after mail-in rebate. Pallet racking and wide-span shelving are 15% off. And now, Max is your source for Carhartt clothing. The Max Fall Sale, where you find great prices, service, and knowledge for the hard work you do. It's not just another hardware store. It's Max.
Good relationships make life better. Especially true when it comes to farming. Your relationship with those that champion your operation contribute to your success. That's why Southeast Farmers Co-op works hard to cultivate good relationships, to get farmers the most for harvest, and to provide and advise on products like fall fertilizer. Southeast Farmers Co-op, Elk Point and Beersford. Visit southeastfarmers.com. Southeast Farmers Co-op, growing good relationships, harvesting success.
This is the Wall Street Journal Report. I'm Bruce Vail. Several major retailers, including Amazon, Best Buy, and Gap, are boosting the amount of money online shoppers have to spend to qualify for free shipping. New data from Stella Service shows, on average, a customer now has to spend $82 on merchandise to qualify for free shipping. That's up from $76 a year ago. And the Journal's Shelley Banjo says those numbers could change.
You'll still see retailers that might have a free shipping minimum of $50 one month and then $25 the next month and $100 the next month.
A small number of retailers still offer no minimum free shipping, including Amazon's Zappos, Nordstrom, and LL Bean. Stocks closed lower today as investors took some profits following 3 days of gains. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 153 points, closing at 16,461. The Nasdaq Composite fell 36 points. The S&P 500 lost 14. This is the Wall Street Journal report.
Wednesday's closing markets in WNAX, cattle and hogs higher and the grains mixed. Before we get to the Merc, Sioux Falls Regional Livestock, Worthing, South Dakota sold 1,000 cattle, $1 to $2 higher. Steers top at $164.60, heifer top at $164.35, and the Holstein top $147.50. On the Merc, the October live cattle up $145 at $168.05, December up $105, $168.10, October feeder cattle up $52, $39.45, and the November up $125 at $235.17. The estimated livestock slaughter, 112,000 cattle, 429,000 hogs, and 7,000 sheep. December lean hogs up $130 at $89.75, February up $177, $87.85, and the April lean hogs up $205 at $89.30. Western Corn Belt direct hogs down $285 at $92.19, Iowa, Minnesota direct hogs down $3.34 at $92.32, and the mandatory pork cutouts down $2.88. On the Board of Trade, corn lowered, December down 3 at $3.53, March corn down 2.5 at $3.67, and the December 2015 corn $3.99 down 2.5. Soybeans lower, November down 1.5, $9.62 3/4. The January down a couple, $9.69 3/4, and March soybeans $9.77 down 2. December soybean meal, $3.38 a ton, down $4.90, and December soybean oil up 38 at $32.14. December Chicago wheat up 3 at $5.22 1/4. March up 3 at $5.36. December Kansas City wheat up 3 at $6.05 1/4, with a March up 2.5, $6.06 1/4. December Minneapolis wheat down 1/4, $5.68 3/4. March Minneapolis wheat no change at $5.78 1/4, and the December oats at $3.54 up 3. That's your market information on WNAX.
This is Science on Your Side from Direct Biologicals.
We're with Matt Heine of Direct Biologicals. Matt, using manure on corn sometimes causes yellow streaks in the field. What's happening?
Well, what's happening is yield loss, as much as 30 to 60 bushels per acre. Those yellow streaks are a sure sign of uneven distribution of nutrients, especially during critical stages of crop development. Manure is a great fertilizer, but only if it's applied consistently across the field. The exclusive science behind Pit Digester assures that you're getting the most out of your manure and that the nitrogen is available and evenly distributed. With Pit Digester, we're extracting up to 750 pounds of suspended solids from 1,000 gallons of liquid effluent. That's about twice the amount of solids that those other products deliver. That means you can cover more acres with your manure and eliminate the yield drag caused by yellow streaks.
Visit directbiologicals.com or call 866-227-3129. Because you don't need a sales pitch, you need science on your side.
Two more big sales week, Fort Pierre Livestock, Fort Pierre, South Dakota this Friday. Big calf and yearling sale Saturday, 1,200. Outstanding quality bred cows, heifers, and fall pairs, and a good runaway ups. On Friday, there'll be 1,500 yearlings, 8 o'clock sharp in the morning, Central Time, followed by 7,500, 8,000 high quality calves, 10 o'clock in the morning, Central Time. In the yearlings, Taylor, 450 black steers, 775, 9.5, plus 200 heifers, 8 to 9. Winches, 240 black and 120 Char and red. Spay heifers weighing 9, 9.5. VS Ranch, 186 black open heifers, 9 1/4. Many more yearlings. The calves weigh 3 to 700 pounds. All are shots, many outstanding replacement heifers. Bill Fisher, 600 blacks, all in town. Barber and Simmons, 280 Char and 150 black. Murray, 425 black Vite, 400 black and Baldy. McCushton, 400 black Kias. Birkland, 400 blacks. Reinhardt, 350 drug-free black. Schnook, 350 Charlotte Cross. Hunt, 300 blacks. Kirkpatrick, 280 Red Angus. NHT Seed. Brunch, 270 drug-free black. Gray, 260 black calves. That's many, many more. 1,500 yearlings. 8 a.m. and sharp in the morning. Followed by 7,500, 8,000 calves. At 10 o'clock Central Time this Friday. Fort Pierre Livestock.
Combines are rolling, and growers are pleased with their Wensman soybean acres this season. They see the positive results on their yield monitors. They're smiling because farming is all about yield, and that's what Wensman is all about, more bushels per acre. Wensman's reputation as the yield leader is earned every year. Wensman is the fastest-growing soybean company in Minnesota and the Dakotas. Wensman's superior genetics and unrivaled seed quality are coupled with the best traits in the business. Great soybean seed delivered with first-class service. Wensman soybean lineup for next spring is the best ever. With a wide range of maturities, characteristics, and traits, Wensman can provide a dynamic portfolio with a package of soybean varieties selected specifically for your fields. And many Wensman dealers offer bulk seed delivery. It's all about the yield. It's all about more bushels per acre. Make a wise choice about your soybean acres next spring by choosing Wensman. To find a dealer near you, visit wensmanseed.com.
CBS News Update. I'm Harley Carnes. There are still several blocks of downtown Ottawa, Canada, locked down as police clear buildings following this morning's shootings on Parliament Hill.
Move down to the next street, please. Thank you.
That was mid-morning. A Canadian soldier standing guard at the nation's war memorial was shot dead by a man with a gun. A gunman who invaded the Parliament building itself was shot dead in an exchange of fire with security personnel. National Democrats Press Secretary Greta Levy saw the gunman.
We both stood there, frankly, dumbstruck, until we heard someone yell gun. And at that point, my colleague and I, we both dropped to the ground.
President Obama offered help if it is needed.
When it comes to dealing with terrorist activity, that Canada and the United States has to be entirely in sync. We have in the past. I'm confident we will continue to do so in the future.
The deceased gunman identified as Michael Abdul Zahaf Bebo. CBS News Update. I'm Harley Carnes.
570 WNAX News. Good afternoon. I'm Lacey Kuntz at 4:35. Currently 59 degrees and raining. And we'll see that chance of showers and thunderstorms continue throughout the evening and into tonight. Then we'll see a gradual clearing with a low around 44 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 72. Friday, more sunshine, a high near 74. And Saturday, sunny, a high near 70. U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack has announced the implementation of a new Farm Bill initiative that will provide relief to farmers affected by severe weather, including drought. He says it involves the actual production history yield exclusion, available nationwide for farmers of select crops starting next spring.
RMA is announcing today that it will be able to offer a limited release of the APH annual production history yield exclusion election, which was outlined and contained in the 2014 Farm Bill for a select number of crops for the 2015 crop year.
Vilsack says a dozen spring crops will be eligible for APH yield exclusion.
Will include corn, soybeans, spring wheat, cotton, grain sorghum, rice, barley, canola, sunflowers, peanuts, and popcorn. Now, these crops represent roughly 75% of the applicable acreage that is currently insured.
The APH yield exclusion allows farmers to exclude yields in exceptionally bad years, such as a year in which a natural disaster or extreme weather occurs, from their production history when calculating yields used to establish their crop insurance coverage. If re-elected, South Dakota Congresswoman Kristi Noem says committee reassignment is a strong possibility. Noem says she served on 4 different committees. Those assignments include natural resources, education and workforce, along with armed services and the Ag Committee. She's now looking at the Ways and Means Committee if she serves another term. Noem says it comes at a time when the House is expected to take up tax reform and trade agreements next year.
That is a different committee. It's the most powerful committee in the House. South Dakota's never had a member of that committee before. But if I were able to get on there, I would certainly be influential over any tax reform that would come forward. And then also these trade agreements that we're negotiating in the European Union and in the Asia-Pacific region, which are so critical for South Dakota and our economy. So I am looking at that now that we have a farm bill done and we have farm policy locked up for the next 5 years. If I can get more work done over there on the Ways and Means Committee, I want to be where the work is being done and where we can get the best bill that's good for South Dakota.
Noem is facing Democrat Karina Robinson in next month's election. For more news and information, go to the news page at WNAX.com or at 570 WNAX News on Twitter. At 4:38, currently 59 and rainy. I'm Lacey Kuntz for 570 WNAX News.
The stories, the facts are here from the award-winning WNAX News team.
There's a different way of seeing things here.
570 WNAX. on the Jackrabbit Sports Network. This is the Jackrabbit Daily Sports Update, presented by First Dakota National Bank. Experience the difference. Here's Tyler Merriam.
The SDSU soccer team did suffer a step backwards over the weekend, but they are right in the thick of the Summit League race, and to say it is a jumbled mess atop the conference in women's soccer is an understatement. We'll tell you about Summit League soccer and where South Dakota State sits after you hear this from First Dakota National Bank.
Hey sports fans, this is Nate Franzine, president of the Agribusiness Division at First Dakota National Bank, with your First Dakota Ag Tip of the Week. Today's tip is, it is the farm and ranch owner's responsibility to lead the transition process. Is your farm's legacy positioned to last for generations? Your farm, ranch, or agribusiness means the world to you. Have you thought about the consequences if something happens to you or key leaders of your operation? What will your family do? The single focus of First Dakota's Keep Farmers Farming Division is to help you maximize the success of your operation. We do that by helping you through strategic planning, succession planning, and estate planning processes, all vital to developing your perfect legacy. Together we can keep farmers farming and write your perfect legacy. Talk to one of our legacy consultants today. Keep Farmers Farming, a division of First Dakota National Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Jackrabbit soccer team knew this past weekend would be its toughest in Summit League play, with 2 games on the road against 2 very good teams. On Friday night, they fell at North Dakota State 1-0. The only goal in the contest came in the 38th minute on a shot just outside the box from NDSU's Lauren Miller. It was a disappointing loss. SDSU felt that was a goal it should not have given up. The Jackrabbits' Elisa Stamatikis, that was the only shot on goals that she even had to deal with. SDSU had a couple of opportunities, ended with 4 shots on goal, but could not find the back of the net in Fargo. Then on Sunday afternoon, Omaha got the better of SDSU, scoring twice in the second half in a 2-0 victory over the Jackrabbits. So here's where things sit in the Summit League. NDSU is atop the league with a 3-1-2 record. SDSU is right behind the Bison at 3-2-1, and then it's 3-2 Denver, followed by 2-0-2 Omaha, and then 2-3 IUPUI. So it is a jumbled mess. And here's the odd thing: SDSU only has 2 Summit League games left. Where you look at USD, the Coyotes have 4, and SDSU will be at USD this Friday afternoon for a very important Summit League match as the SDSU soccer team visits the University of South Dakota in Vermilion Friday afternoon. Kickoff set for 4 o'clock in Vermilion.
This has been the Jackrabbit Daily Sports Update, presented by First Dakota National Bank. Experience the difference.
Good afternoon with a check your WNEX Sports. I'm Eric Rosenwell. K-State coach Bill Schneider is among the 81 coaches and players up for election to the College Football Hall of Fame. The National Football Foundation today released the ballot for the class that will be announced on January the 9th. Former Heisman Trophy winners Rashaan Salam of Colorado, Ricky Williams of Texas, and Eric Crouch of Nebraska are among the 75 players from the Football Bowl subdivision on the ballot. Oklahoma linebacker Brian Bosworth and Southern Cal receiver Keyshawn Johnson also up for election. The NFF tweaked its rules of eligibility a few years ago to allow active coaches such as Snyder to be eligible for election after they turn 75. Well, Game 2 of the World Series on tap tonight as the Royals will send Orlando Ventura to the mound against Jake Peavy. Ventura was 14-10 during the season and left his last start against the Orioles in the ALCS with shoulder tightness. Peavy went 7 for 13 but has loads of postseason experience as this is his 8th playoff start. He pitched for the world champion Red Sox last season. And a prosecution request to remove the judge handling the felony child abuse case for Minnesota Vikings star running back Adrian Peterson has been denied. Montgomery County State District Judge Kelly Case will remain on the case following a recusal hearing today in suburban Houston. Retired Tarrant County District Judge Jeff Walker denied a request by the prosecutors who had accused Case of being biased against them. That's Check Your WNEX Sports on your home for Minnesota Vikings football.
I know I'm a little biased because I'm a Kansas State University fan, but don't you think Bill Snyder is kind of a shoo-in?
I believe so.
I mean, that program was the absolute worst in the country, and now they're a perennial top 25 team. I would think that should work pretty well in his favor. It's 4:44 at 570 WNEX. Good afternoon. Lacey, Eric, and Fred, we are here on Drive Time. 800-367-9629 is our phone number. Rain continuing as I look out the window. And it will continue into the evening. Cloudy with gradual clearing through the night. Low tonight of 44, and then tomorrow we get nicer again. Sunny 72, 74 on Friday, and then the weekend. We got a couple of days where we'll hit right around 70 degrees with sunny to mostly sunny skies. Right now it is 59 degrees. I've talked a little bit about my childhood from time to time. I think I had a great childhood. I grew up in the shadow of New York City and in a town, though, where we felt really safe. And, it was just a good time to grow up and a good place to grow up when I grew up in northern New Jersey. And I've often, though, wondered how I managed to survive childhood because based on all of the garbage safety standards that we have today and what we no longer allow our children to do, if all that stuff was true, myself and most of the kids I grew up with would be dead. We would not even exist. There was an article that I happened to come across, found it on Facebook initially, and the article is called 8 Reasons Children of the 70s Should All Be Dead. So I thought we'd go through them and see, you guys are a little younger, whether you got to do, actually, one of you is a lot younger, whether you guys got to do this stuff. We had toys that were considered dangerous. And the number one example, and I loved playing the game, was jarts. Have you ever heard of jarts, Lacey?
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, well, there's kind of a picture of them right here.
Or lawn darts.
They were lawn darts, yeah. I guess jarts was a brand name. And we had a set, and we had a blast with them. Basically, you had a big plastic ring that kind of looked like a miniature hula hoop. And it sort of was a little bit like horseshoes in that you flung the lawn dart across the field and tried to get it inside the circle. Now, of course, they had pointy metal tips. And were considered a little bit dangerous. I don't think any kids today are playing with lawn darts.
We had actual darts. We had a dartboard in the hayloft that we threw darts at when I was little.
Well, I mean, darts is fine, but I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of the dartboards you see in the toy section in the store now don't have the metal tips anymore. It's the plastic tip, and the board has the little holes in it.
I haven't seen them. Ours definitely was the metal tip. Because I know that we would sometimes, our barn was full of holes in the floor, and we'd occasionally lose some darts through the holes in the floor because we missed the dartboard, and you would find them later as you were walking around the stable down below feeding baby calves, and you say, "Oh, ouch, that's where that was."
Of course, the FM morning crew, they think they need a dartboard in the new studio.
They would be dangerous with darts.
I don't know. Benji is in a dart league, actually.
Which
actually,
makes
several
him even more dangerous to an
dart
extent.
leagues. Number 2, seat belts. We never wore them.
I didn't wear them growing up. My parents were not seatbelt people.
In fact, if you wanted to wear the seat belts, you'd have to dig them out from underneath the seat cushion, because they get lost. Not only didn't any of us kids wear seat belts unless we were in the front seat. But if we were in the back, or as we used to call it, the way back, the storage compartment area of the station wagon, we never wore seat belts. We would roll around in the back of that thing and fight over who was in whose space. And, somehow or another, all 4 of us kids managed to survive.
I remember we'd take trips in Dad's pickup, his Ford pickup, and it had the bench seat across the front. And then it had like the not the full extended cab, but like just a little back seat to it. And when you've got 6 kids and 2 adults piling into the pickup, you don't have enough seat belts.
Yeah, you rode in the back of the pickup too, didn't you, in the bed?
We sure did, yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
And you're here.
I am here.
You're here. Number 3, semi-lethal playground equipment. We did the story, a couple of weeks ago about the school up in Washington State that wants to ban swing sets on school grounds. I mean, come on. Not only did we have the swing set, we had the teeter-totter. We had that merry-go-round thing that you would try to get some little kid to get in the middle of and spin it till they just about threw up. We had jungle gyms and all of this in a gravelly area. No rubber tire shreds or anything like that. You can't do that anymore. I mean, the slide on a hot summer day, that metal slide, if you were wearing shorts.
There went the skin off your behind, right?
Oh, it was gone. Number 4, speaking of sun, we didn't worry about sun protection. In fact, you could, people would tell you, you must be having a great summer by how dark you got over the course of the summer. Ooh, look at you. And, certain relatives would say stuff that would be ethnically or racially insensitive today about how dark we were getting. The thing is, we didn't worry about it, and we don't all have skin cancer. It just seems like we got things out of whack. Number 5, helmets. Maybe for those with certain mental conditions, but come on, helmets on a bicycle? In New Jersey, the driving age was 17, but I could get a job at 16, a real job. And I had been first delivering newspapers, and then I went to work for a newspaper where I went door to door trying to get people to subscribe. And then eventually I turned 16. They wanted me to work in the office in a phone room. Well, the office was 7.5 miles away. So how did I get to work? I rode my bicycle in New Jersey traffic. Somehow or another I survived, never wore a helmet, and only fell off the bike once the entire year plus that I did that till I got my license. And then I had a car that was built in 1965 that didn't have seatbelts. Again, I survived. Number 6, ignored and unattended on a regular basis. Our parents didn't worry about where we were. You know what we were told when we were kids? Be in when the street lights come on. You see the street lights, turn on, it's time for you to come home. They didn't worry about whether we were at the park, whether we were at the schoolyard, whether we were at a neighbor's house. It just wasn't an issue. Now, if I was going to be at a neighbor's house for a certain amount of time, I was supposed to call and, let them know where I was if it was going to go beyond the street light time. But other than that, we pretty much had free reign. You living in the country probably had free reign, right?
Yeah, we didn't really go anywhere besides the farm. We had plenty of space where we were.
Wasn't many places to go when you're living.
That's right.
Other than maybe the neighbor's farm, right? I mean, if that, if somebody across the street or whatever. I mean, it wasn't an issue. Now, we had a mother who's accused of child neglect because she let her kid go to the playground? That wasn't the case when we were kids, and somehow we survived. Number 7, we were routinely allowed to get seriously hurt.
That was definitely us. I have a sister missing a toe, and after it happened, my parents said, now, teach the rest of you to wear shoes.
Especially around dangerous stuff, right?
That's right. She had a calf step on it, so off it went. But we always wore shoes walking our show calves after that.
But whether we got hurt or not, we were allowed to take risks. And kids today aren't allowed to take risks. And if they don't take risks as a child, will they take risk in their work life, in their business life? And then, of course, the overreaction to not being allowed to take risks when you're young is some of the extreme sports that...
Taking the big ones when you get older.
Yeah. And then, last but certainly not least, we were all subjected to secondhand smoke. And we didn't all get lung cancer. Now, don't get me wrong, that one we may have improved something on. Because it couldn't have been healthy, and I did have bouts with bronchitis and stuff when I was a kid, because both my parents smoked when I was a kid. But we weren't so overprotective. We didn't want to put our kids in a bubble. Today, we're putting kids in a bubble, and a lot of that is government mandated, and we're not allowed to let our kids spread their wings. And it just seems like we've lost a little something along the way, but then I'm starting to get old, so I guess that's what I'm supposed to say, because life was better when I was a kid. The music was better, the sports were better, TV shows were better.
And you had to walk to school uphill both ways.
For 4 whole blocks. And I came home for lunch. 800-367-9629 is our phone number. We'll check in with the Wall Street Journal report next.
This is the Wall Street Journal report. I'm Bruce Vail. AT&T reported a drop in profit in its most recent quarter, and the company lowered its revenue outlook for the year, pointing to fewer than expected customers signing up for its no-contract plans that require customers to pay full price for their smartphones. AT&T reported quarterly results after the market close. In late trading, shares are down more than 1%. During today's trading session, stocks moved lower. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 153 points, closing at 16,461. The Nasdaq Composite fell 36 points, and the S&P 500 dropped 14. Southwest Airlines said it reached agreement on a new contract with the union that represents about 6,000 customer service agents and support representatives. Southwest shares did fall 1%. Crude oil futures dropped $1.97, settling at $80.52 a barrel. This is the Wall Street Journal report.
We help farmers make the best use of their land, which means healthier crops, higher yields, and less harvesting hours, which is good news for a growing population and good news for the environment. BASF, the chemical company.
Attention homeowners, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. We've told you about HARP in the past. There are so many more of you who could be saving hundreds of dollars every month on your mortgage. It's simple and easy. And for 4 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. To learn more, call 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed all 50 states and MLS number 3030.
Okay, sports fans, it's game time at the Built Ford Tough Sales event. Ford F-150 with EcoBoost has smash mouth power with efficiency. Ford Super Duty, boom. That's how you punch it right up the gut, pal. And here's another stat, folks. F-Series has been America's best-selling truck for 37 straight years. That's called a dynasty, baby. Now, during the Built Ford Tough Sales event, score big savings on the hardest-hitting lineup of trucks on the field.
The Built Ford Tough Sales event is on for a limited time at your local Northland Ford dealer. Come in today to get the best deals on a brand new F-Series truck. There's no better time to see the great fuel economy, dominating power, and legendary Ford quality that's made F-Series America's best-selling trucks for 37 years straight. And now during the Built Ford Tough Sales event, get huge cash back, low APR financing, or attractive lease offers on a brand new Built Ford Tough F-150 or Super Duty. Go online to northlandford.com, then visit your local Northland Ford dealer for a test drive today.
At Capello USA, they believe next year's growing cycle starts at harvest. Invest in a Capello chopping corn head that's designed with your entire growing cycle in mind. You'll enjoy more grain in your bin thanks to the efficiency of a Capello header. And with the state-of-the-art chopping technology, you'll see how properly chopped residue can lead to a healthier bottom line and a happier you all year long. To learn more about Capello, visit CapelloUSA.com. Capello, Italian craftsmanship, American grit.
This week, Thursday, at the Preston Livestock Auction, we'll have 700 head of high-quality yearlings and 750 head of high-quality calves. Most yearlings will be steers weighing from 900 to 1,100 pounds and sorted into pot loads. And there'll be 700 calves being black and black-hided, weighing from 450 to 650 pounds, also sorted into pot loads. For more information, go to www.PrestonLivestock.com or call us at the Silver on 1-800-753-6455. That's this week at the Preston Livestock, 1,400 to 1,500 head of high-quality calves.
Eric, you just had a long conversation off the air with somebody. Can you summarize it in about 15 seconds?
Just had somebody call and said he had a son who was 9 years old, fell off his bicycle and hit his head. He was wearing a helmet. Otherwise, he would have been seriously injured. He was also burned by somebody who was smoking back in 1974 at a swim meet. The guy dropped his cigar and burned his leg.
All right. Appreciate that input here. And it's time to kind of get updated on news.
570 WNAX News. Good afternoon. I'm Lacey Kuntz. Here's what's coming up. A public forum was held in Yankton last night to discuss a minimum wage increase, and a Verdigris, Nebraska man is in custody in connection with murder. We'll see showers this evening, sun tomorrow, more from the 5 states. After CBS News at 5 from 570 WNAX Yankton.
CBS News. I'm Harley Carnes. Several blocks of downtown Ottawa, Canada remain locked down as police continue to search buildings room by room.
Gunshots, everybody out. Gunshot in the foyer.
At Canada's War Memorial, one of the soldiers who stand guard there was shot dead. Shortly thereafter, a man with a gun managed to get past security at the Parliament itself, spotted by the press secretary for the National Democratic Party, Greta Levy.
He just kept walking. He wasn't running. He was just walking calmly, deliberately, and then a few seconds later we heard the shooting.
He traded shots inside with a sergeant-at-arms and others and was killed. That gunman's been identified as Michael Abdul Zahaf Bibo, age 32. President Obama is offering any help that may be needed.
The president spoke with Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper hours after the attacks.
I expressed on behalf of the American people our condolences to the family and to the Canadian people as a whole.
Mr. Obama says the motivation for the shootings isn't known yet, but
it emphasizes the degree to which we have to remain vigilant when it comes to dealing with these kinds of acts of senseless violence or terrorism.
Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
A Palestinian motorist used his car as a weapon today. CBS's Robert Berger.
A Palestinian slammed his car into a crowded train station here in Jerusalem in what Israeli police describe as a terrorist attack. A 3-month-old baby girl was killed and 8 people injured. The driver got out of his car and fled, but was shot by police. Tensions have been simmering between Jews and Arabs in Jerusalem since the Gaza war erupted in July. Robert Berger, CBS News, Jerusalem.
The World Health Organization put the Ebola death toll today at 4,877. President Obama.
We're already starting to see some very modest signs of progress in Liberia. We're concerned about some spike in cases in Guinea.
A statement from the family of infected Dallas nurse Amber Vinson says that doctors at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta and the CDC are no longer able to detect the virus in her body, and she's been approved for transfer out of isolation. World Health Organization also says drug-resistant tuberculosis is now in 100 countries, made 9 million people sick last year, and killed 1.5 million of them. Seniors will get a roughly $20 increase in their monthly Social Security benefits, 1.7% inflation increase. 85-year-old Ruth Weston in Tampa, not exactly impressed.
I don't know how anyone expects us to live with that kind of an increase. That hardly buys you lunch or dinner or whatever. It's ridiculous.
On Wall Street, the Dow lost 153 points today. The Nasdaq was down 36. Oil prices $80.50 a barrel. This is CBS News.
Attention homeowners. I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and I have some important information for you regarding the U.S. government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. We've told you about HARP in the past, and more than 3 million homeowners have already taken advantage of this money-saving program. But there are so many more of you who could be saving hundreds of dollars every month on your mortgage. And Quicken Loans is here to help you save your money. The home loan experts at Quicken Loans fully understand the HARP guidelines. If you weren't HARP eligible in the past, new guidelines could mean that now you are. Give us a call and we'll give you a Quicken Loans mortgage review. It's simple and easy. And for 4 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN. Or go to QuickenLoans.com for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance calls. For cost information, equal housing lender license in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Target has started a full-court holiday shopping press. Getting the word out early, shipping for online shoppers will be free. WCCO reporter Jennifer Leverins.
Thanks for calling Target.com. To place a new Target.
Minneapolis-based Target Corporation is announcing free shipping on all online purchases through December 20th. Stephanie manages their flagship store.
It's something that we want to give our guests to make their experience more amazing through the holiday season, make it easier for them to shop online, get those items brought right to their doorstep, and capturing those guests that maybe can't get into the store via the weather or whatever that be.
Target.com normally only offers free shipping for purchases over $50.
A gold digger, literally, in Macedonia. Police arrested a 52-year-old man outside a shopping mall and found him carrying 12 pairs of dentures and 4 gold tooth caps. He's a security guard at a cemetery, and police think he was digging down into the graves and stealing the gold from the teeth of the dead. Harley Carnes, CBS News.
570 WNAX News. Good afternoon. I'm Lacey Kuntz at 5:05, currently 59 degrees. And I believe it's stopped raining for now, but still very cloudy and could be raining, and I just can't see it. And we'll see occasional showers and possible thunderstorms throughout the evening and tonight. That chance continues. Then we'll see a gradual clearing with a low around 44 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny, a high near 72. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 74. And Saturday, more sunshine with a high near 70. A forum discussing initiated Measure 18 was held in Yankton last night. That ballot issue would raise the state's minimum wage to $8.50 an hour and index it to inflation. Sean Lyons, executive director of the South Dakota Retailers Association, says his members oppose the increase, calling it a mandate for small businesses.
For many employees, these jobs are the opportunity to gain valuable experience that can benefit them for the rest of their careers. However, this opportunity is being threatened through initiated Measure 18, which mandates a 17% starting wage increase on small businesses starting in January. It doesn't stop with a one-time increase, as it mandates a wage increase every single year tied to the National Consumer Price Index forever.
Yankton attorney Ryan Schwach said more than teenagers would be affected by the wage hike.
Is that 44,000 employees are going to see a pay raise. That's how many South Dakotans make the minimum wage, or are less than the $8.50 that's on the ballot. 34,000 people are going to see a pay raise, which, like I said before, they're going to be able to turn around and spend.
Lyons said most businesses in the state are already paying more than the minimum.
Businesses are already raising wages because they recognize on their own that to do so, to be competitive in the marketplace, particularly in a state with the second lowest unemployment in the nation at 3.6%.
Schwach says the bottom wage needs to be elevated.
I think that most South Dakotans deserve to make a living wage. I think all South Dakotans, if you're contributing to the labor force, you deserve to make a living wage. You shouldn't have to worry about whether or not you're going to be able to put food on your kid's table. You shouldn't work at Walmart and be told by Walmart, or work at McDonald's and be told by McDonald's how to get on welfare, how to get on Medicaid. That's degrading, it's indignifying, and it doesn't reflect the amount of work you're contributing to the community.
The forum was sponsored by the Yankton Area Chamber of Commerce and drew about 25 people. The September report from the Minnesota Association of Realtors shows a slight uptick in residential real estate activity. CEO Chris Galler says pending sales increased nearly 1% after a 4% drop in August.
Pending sales are always sales that will close at a future time, and that ratio has been going up as far as the number of pending sales that are closing. That's a good sign. And probably the best sign for homeowners is that the median price continues to increase.
Closed sales were off about 4% last month, while the median sales price rose more than 5%. New listings were up 6%, and the number of homes for sale increased almost 12%. A Verdigris, Nebraska man has been taken into custody in connection with the death of a Verdigris woman. The Knox County Sheriff's Office and Verdigris Police Department are investigating Monday's death of 66-year-old Linda Privet, according to a news release from the Sheriff's Office. According to media reports, Privet was shot and pronounced dead at her home. An autopsy was performed Tuesday in Omaha by the Douglas County Coroner's Office. According to the Knox County News release, 66-year-old Philip M. Privet is in custody of the Knox County Sheriff. Knox County Judge Donna Taylor set the defendant's bond at $1 million, subject to the 10% option. Philip Privet's arraignment is scheduled for 1 p.m. Friday. Formal charges are pending. For more news and information, go to the news page at WNAX.com or at 570 WNAX News on Twitter at 509. Currently 58 degrees and cloudy. I'm Lacey Kuntz for 570 WNAX News.
From breaking news to the stories that touch us all, get the latest from CBS and the award-winning WNAX News team only on 570 WNAX.
This week, Thursday, at the Presto Livestock Auction, we'll have 700 head of high-quality yearlings and 750 head of high-quality calves. Most yearlings will be steers weighing from 900 to 1,100 pounds and sorted into pot loads. And there'll be 700 calves being black and black-hided, weighing from 450 to 650 pounds, also sorted into pot loads. For more information, go to www.prestolivestock.com or call us at the Silver on 1-800-753-6455. That's this week at the Presto Livestock, 1,400 to 1,500 head of high-quality cattle.
If you need silage tarps for your operation, call Koima Company in Rock Valley, Iowa. Koima Company has silage tarps in stock. High-quality silage tarps in a variety of sizes to fit every need on your farm. Call Koima Company today at 800-522-8874 for a great selection of quality silage tarps and replacement harvester parts. Call Koima Company at 800-522-8874. That's 800-522-8874.
Good evening with a check your WNEX Sports. I'm Eric Rosen. Game 2 of the World Series is tonight. The Royals will send Yorlando Ventura to the mound against Jake Peavy. Ventura is 14-10 during the season. He left his last start against the Orioles in the ALCS with shoulder tightness. Peavy was 7 for 13 and has loads of postseason experience as this is his 8th playoff start. He pitched for the world champion Red Sox last season. Following tonight's game, the two clubs will shift the series to San Francisco for games 3, 4, and if need be, game 5. A prosecution request to remove the judge handling the felony child abuse case against Viking star running back Adrian Peterson has been denied. Montgomery County State District Attorney or District Judge Kelly Case will remain on the case following a recusal hearing today in suburban Houston. Retired Tarrant County District Judge Jeff Walker denied a request by the prosecution who had accused Case of being biased against them. And K-State coach Bill Schneider among the 81 coaches and players up for election to the College Football Hall of Fame. Former Heisman Trophy winners were Sean Salam of Colorado, Ricky Williams of Texas, and Eric Crouch of Nebraska, also among the 75 players from the Football Bowl subdivision on the ballot. Also Oklahoma linebacker Brian Bosworth and Southern Cal receiver Keyshawn Johnson among those to be elected. That's check your WNEX Sports on your home for SDSU Jackrabbit football.
So what do you think about Crouch?
I don't know. It might not be a first balloter, but
okay.
I'm sure Nebraska fans would argue different, but
of the players who are first balloters, what do you think? Boswell?
I don't know if the Boswell,
because he was a star in college. He wasn't so big.
No, the NFL. I don't know if he'll. Yeah, he could be. Ricky Williams. I bet he'll be a first.
I think you're probably right there.
This is an Ag News update from 570 WNAX. Tuesday, Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack announced implementation of a new Farm Bill initiative to provide relief to farmers affected by severe weather, including drought. He says it involves the actual production history yield exclusion available nationwide for farmers of select crops starting next spring.
RMA is announcing today that it will be able to offer a limited release of the APH annual production history yield exclusion election, which was outlined and contained in the 2014 Farm Bill for a select number of crops for the 2015 crop year.
Vilsack says a dozen spring crops will be eligible for the APH yield exclusion.
Will include corn, soybeans, spring wheat, cotton, grain sorghum, rice, barley, canola, sunflowers, peanuts, and popcorn. Now, these crops represent roughly 75% of the applicable acreage that is currently insured.
For more details, go to the Ag News page at WNAX.com.
5 states strong. Your big friend. 570 WNAX.
The Optimum AcreMax lineup from DuPont Pioneer is pretty simple. These hybrids don't need to complicate their message.
Single bag.
They offer a simple proposition.
One bag, baby.
When it's crunch time, you just load it up and go.
Bam, done.
You get above and below ground protection.
Bugs hate it?
With a high-yielding hybrid.
You'll love it.
In one bag.
1-2 punch.
And your hybrids are locally tested to perform like a champ on your acres.
It's a knockout.
Talk to your local Pioneer sales professional about the Optimum AcreMax lineup. Optimum AquaMax hybrids from DuPont Pioneer don't need a cheap stunt to make their point.
Rain or shine?
These hybrids yield in normal and dry conditions.
Dust and mud.
They make more out of every drop.
Squeezing and pleasing.
It's a twofer, my friend.
Drought cloud.
You get top-end yield potential under good growing conditions.
A bit easier.
And greater stability under drought stress.
A bit tougher.
And that equals less stress for you.
Phew.
Talk to your local Pioneer sales professional about the Optimum AquaMax Hybrid Advantage.
Hey, Charlie. So what's your take now on the Senate race?
Well, I've come around to Rick Weiland.
But you're a Republican.
Yeah, I am. And like a lot of folks, I started out for Mike Rounds, but not anymore.
Why not?
Well, I like the fact that Weiland has visited all 311 South Dakota towns, while Mike Rounds, well, he doesn't seem to be making the rounds.
So, Weiland's a hard worker. That's good. But what's he stand for?
A lot of things. He wants to eliminate big money in politics. He wants to protect Social Security and Medicare, not privatize them. And he's strongly for increasing our minimum wage.
Well, that sounds great. Anything else?
Just this. He says the government should give folks a strong hand up, but not a hand out.
Sounds like a voice of reason. So why is he in politics? Paid for by Progressive Kick IEC, who is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.progressivekick.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
It's called CMT, Crop Max Technology, a crop input service of Central Farmers Co-op designed to get the maximum production from every acre. Central Farmers Co-op crop consultant Mike Healy outlines the benefits of CMT.
The biggest benefit is amending the soils. The pH of the soil has a lot to do with nutrient availability. We can go out and we can put on phosphorus and potash if the soil pHs are not in line. So I think amending the soils and making the most of the nutrients we put on the ground available to the plant is where we want to take this thing.
Living up to their motto, generating value for every acre. Central Farmers Co-op at 10 locations: Marion, Freeman, Salem, Dimmock, Canova, Montrose, Canastota, Lyons, Viborg, and Irene, South Dakota. Central Farmers Co-op, competitive prices, commitment to service. Log on at centfarmcoop.com.
570 WNAX, your dependable weather forecast looking like this. We're going to see cloudy skies. Rain should be coming to an end from west to east as it moves across. We'll see gradual clearing through the night, a low of 44. Tomorrow, sunny, 72. Then for Friday, mostly sunny, 74. Sunny both Saturday and Sunday with a high of 70 degrees. Monday, we'll see a 20% chance for a little rain, a high of 63. And then Tuesday, a little cooler, but the sun comes back out, 56 for your high. Right now, it's 59 degrees, and it's either raining very lightly or it's stopped. I can't quite tell looking outside.
What a day for a daydream.
Season after season.
What a day for a daydreaming boy.
The weather you need
It's one of those days for taking a walk outside.
is on your Big Friend 570 WNAX.
And so the silly political season continues, as does this radio program, Drive Time on 570 WNAX. By the way, we are live and local 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday to better serve you, and the expanded Drive Time, of course, just a part of that. So, Lacey, you had the story during your newscast about the Forum on Initiated Measure 18, which is the minimum wage increase in South Dakota, and Nebraska is going to be voting on a very similar measure. There is one major difference, though, between South Dakota and Nebraska's measures, and that is the issue of indexing. And indexing, by the way, means that based on an inflation rate, the minimum wage will automatically go up, which becomes kind of a self-replicating cycle, because for those of us who believe that an increase in wages leads to inflation, then inflation leads to an increase in wages, which leads to an increase in inflation, which leads to an increase in wages, which, well, you get the idea. And I thought that Mr. Schwach, the Yankton attorney who was speaking on behalf of the minimum wage increase, I thought that the one clip you had with him was a little disingenuous.
I think that most South Dakotans deserve to make a living wage. I think all South Dakotans, if you're contributing to the labor force, you deserve to make a living wage. You shouldn't have to worry about whether or not you're going to be able to put food on your kid's table. You shouldn't work at Walmart and be told by Walmart, or work at McDonald's and be told by McDonald's how to get on welfare, how to get on Medicaid. That's degrading, it's indignifying, and it doesn't reflect the amount of work you're contributing to the community.
And here's my point on this, first of all. It's real nice to pick on Walmart and McDonald's, but many people have gotten their start in the workforce in McDonald's or some other fast food restaurant. People of all ages, everything from students on up to senior citizens who just want a little extra money, have worked at places like Walmart and their competitors. These are not bad jobs. Are those jobs designed to be a long-term living wage job? No, they're not designed to be. You move up or you move out. If you're not happy with the wage, better yourself and get a better job. But the fact is that increasing the wage at the bottom is not going to catch anybody up. Increasing the wage at the bottom does nothing but raise where the bottom is. The people at the bottom will always be the people at the bottom, because the lowest entry-level jobs will always be the entry-level jobs, and artificially increasing that wage at the bottom, all that does is everything else gets indexed and moved up as well. At least I hope so, because if it doesn't, then we have more people at the bottom. Because the people who are making $850 will suddenly still be making $850, and now they're at the bottom. But do you know what that also does if you're a Democrat or a liberal? It increases the constituency for those who are demanding a minimum wage increase, because they're going to want to get in on that next raise. In a way, there's a little bit of genius in it, at least on a political basis. So, anyway, in the state of my birth, New York, in the city of my birth, New York City, thank God I didn't grow up in the city. I could access the city by bus without having to live within the 5 boroughs. There are voters on the voting rolls that show an age of 164 years old.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, well, their birthday apparently was in January. Apparently, there was a glitch in the system, because it used to be that as long as it was obvious you were over 18, you were a voting age, you didn't have to give your exact age, because, you know, some people don't want to admit their age if they're older. They want people to think they're younger. They don't want their age to be public record. And so in New York, at one time, you didn't have to give your age. Well, at some point between then and now, they got a new computer system, and those who were on the voter rolls who didn't have a specific birth date listed were given the birth date of January 1st, 1850. So I asked the question on my Facebook page, and by the way, you can go to Facebook and like the Fred Foreman page. I would like you for doing that. But I asked on my Facebook page, I wonder what party those people are registered to. And at that point, a good friend of mine said, the Whigs? Because I think in 1850, the Whigs were still a respected party. I don't think the Republicans had come and replaced them yet. I did read somewhere somebody's trying to restart the Whig Party, but I don't know what they would stand for at this point. What would the political stance of the Whigs be today? You deserve a full head of hair. No, that's a little different kind of Whig. That doesn't quite work that way. But anyway, only in New York do they have voters at 164 years of age. Oh, by the way, to tie up a loose end from yesterday, remember I kind of made fun of my wife for messaging me during the show on Facebook?
Oh,
my ex-wife, rather. Yeah. I would never make fun of my wife behind her back. I do it in front of her. But anyway, I made fun of her, and apparently she's mad at me now, and she's not talking to me on Facebook. In other words, mission accomplished. 800-367-9629 is our telephone number. And take a news break here. Lacey will be in with news. Tom will have your market information, and Eric with one more check of sports. And then we'll wrap it up. Does having a sense of humor on the job make you a better worker? Of course it does. We'll talk about that as we move along with Drive Time on 570 WNAX.
It's Truck Month at Billion GMC right here in Sioux City. Truck Month is one of the best times of the year to buy a new crossover, truck, or sport utility. That's why GMC has announced huge rebates, plus we've discounted them even more. Save on the all-new Sierra pickup, the all-new Yukon and Yukon Denali, even Terrains and Acadias. We've marked them all down. Don't miss GMC Truck Month, and only at your GMC Giant. Billion GMC in Sioux City or BillionAuto.com.
Hi, I'm Adrian Smith. For 6 generations, my family has called Nebraska home. My rural upbringing taught me hard work and common sense. I have traveled countless miles listening to you and fighting for your interests. I'm pro-life, pro-gun, and proud to stand up for Nebraska agriculture. That starts with stopping the Obama administration. I have fought the EPA, working to kill excessive regulations, and I'm working to ensure Nebraska's producers can continue to serve customers around the world. I have voted consistently to repeal and defund Obamacare. It's a $2 trillion waste of money. I'm pushing a balanced budget to stop Washington's record spending and $17 trillion of debt. In rural Nebraska, we believe in smaller, more accountable government, and we want common sense solutions. That's what I'm fighting for in Washington. I'm Adrian Smith, candidate for Congress. I approve this message, and I would appreciate your vote.
Paid for and authorized by Adrian Smith for Congress.
Mycogen brand corn hybrids are made for farming success. That means putting a unique combination of yield-enhancing technology, performance, and value into every seed. From the latest genetics to high-performing agronomic characteristics to local service and support, Mycogen brand corn hybrids are made differently. Contact Yankton Ag Service at 605-665-3691 for more information. Dow AgroSciences. Science, yield, success.
Farmers, at Yankton Ag Service, we've got the seed companies that will perform on your farm. Scott Zavital here. At Yankton Ag Service, we're committed to finding the best hybrid to help you increase your whole farm yield, and we'll help you achieve those yields. We understand every bushel counts, and we've got the corn and soybean varieties to fit on all your acres. So stop in or call us and see what hybrids we can offer to simplify planting, increase whole farm yields. Yankton Ag Service, your year-round farming partner. 605-665-3691.
Almost 4,000 spring calves, 800 red Angus steers, and breedable red heifers Thursday, October 23rd at Ballantine Livestock, offering 100% documented preconditioned programs fully vaccinated. Genetics from nationally recognized seed stock producers. Thursday, October 23rd, 4,000 spring calves, 800 red Angus plus Shark Cross, Black Cross, several groups of breedable heifers. Almost 4,000 Thursday, October 23rd at Ballantine Livestock.
This is the Wall Street Journal Report. I'm Bruce Vail. Boeing shares fell nearly 4.5% today, even though the company said its quarterly profit rose 18% and it again raised its 2014 guidance. Boeing said commercial jet demand remained strong, but the company indicated costs for its flagship 787 Dreamliner program aren't coming down as quickly as hoped. The broader market also moved lower for the first time this week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 153 points to 16,461. The Nasdaq Composite fell 36. The S&P 500 lost 14 points. Pumpkin spice flavors are everywhere this time of year, but Starbucks is hoping a new flavor will tickle your taste buds. The coffee chain will roll out a chestnut praline latte on November 12th. It's the first time in 5 years the company will release a new holiday drink nationwide. This is the Wall Street Journal Report.
Wednesday's closing markets in WNAX. Cattle and hogs higher and the grains mixed. Before we get to the Merc, Sioux Falls Regional Livestock, Worthing, South Dakota sold 1,000 cattle, $1 to $2 higher. Steers top at $164.60, heifer top at $164.35, and the Holstein top $147.5. On the Merc, the October live cattle up 145 at 168.05. December up 105, 168.10. October feeder cattle up 52, 39.45. And the November up 125 at 235.17. The estimated livestock slaughter, 112,000 cattle, 429,000 hogs, and 7,000 sheep. December lean hogs up 130 at 89.75. February up 177, 87.85. And the April lean hogs up 205 at 89.30. Western Corn Belt direct hogs down 285 at 92.19. Iowa, Minnesota direct hogs down 334 at 92.32. And the mandatory pork cutouts down $2.88. On the Board of Trade, corn lowered. December down 3 at 353. March corn down 2.5 at 367. And the December 2015 corn 399 down 2.5. Soybeans lower. November down 1.5, 962 3/4. The January down a couple, 969 3/4. And March soybeans 977 down 2. December soybean meal 338 a ton, down $4.90. And December soybean oil up 38 at 32.14. December Chicago wheat up 3 at 522 1/4. March up 3 at 536. December Kansas City wheat up 3 at 605 1/4, with a March up 2.5, 606 1/4. December Minneapolis wheat down 1/4, 568 3/4. March Minneapolis wheat no change at 578 1/4, and the December oats at 354 up 3. That's your market information on WNAX.
The founder of Ag Masters, Terry Saveda, is creating quite a stir with Wall Street in his new venture, Decadian. Ask Terry, he'll explain why Main Street is controlled by Wall Street, why the system is rigged against hardworking Americans like you, while the top 1% are consistently generating 100% plus return.
I began working with the American farmer, providing them Ag Masters market price forecasts. Today, I'm waging a national campaign to expose the truth about Wall Street. When you understand how the system really works, you can use it to your advantage. And with Decadian as a voice and a platform, this is now possible. The first advice I offer is stop using trading platforms and stop accepting single-digit returns as a way to succeed. This is about you, your life, and your family, and how you can prepare for a better future. What Decadian offers you today, you will not find anywhere else. Decadian was developed to give Main Street investors, people like you and I, the same knowledge and the same leveraged benefits that the elite, the top 1%, have.
RSVP today and join a great conversation and dinner at Decadian's Wealth Creating Seminar in Sioux City, Iowa at Bev's on the River on November 6th. When you RSVP, you'll receive your own personal issue of the Decadian Wealth Report. Call toll-free 844-332-2342 to reserve your seat or register online at Decadian.com. All wealth-building topics will be on the table, including learning the best way to add high-leveraged investments to your investment portfolio and how you can make Decadian your own personal investment advisor. It's just $50 at the door, but only $35 if you RSVP. Your spouse will receive a 50% discount either way. Dinner will be at 6 p.m. and seating is limited, so register now if you want to lock in this opportunity. Call now to lock in your savings and open the door to a new future. 844-DECADIAN. That's 844-332-2342. Call now.
This is Science on Your Side from Direct Biologicals.
We're with Matt Heine of Direct Biologicals. Matt, what makes Pit Digester such a special product?
The science behind Pit Digester is very complex, and no other product can do what Pit Digester does. Pit Digester dramatically reduces the amount of insoluble fiber in manure pits and dramatically increases the nutrient value of your manure. With Pit Digester, you get better, more consistent manure and more of it, so you can cover more acres. We're getting up to 750 pounds of suspended solids out of every 1,000 gallons of liquid pumped from the pit. Better yet, Pit Digester reduces the yellow streaking that commonly occurs with manure application, and that can increase corn yields from 30 to 60 bushels per acre. It's all about knowing how microbial organisms do what they do and leveraging that knowledge to make the most of your manure.
Visit directbiologicals.com or call 866-227-3129. Because you don't need a sales pitch, you need science on your side.
CBS News Update. I'm Harley Carnes. In Canada's capital, a gunman walked into the Parliament and died in a gunfight with security people.
This is a crime scene. Can we please clear the crime scene?
Parliament member Jim Munson was told,
Get out, get out. There's a gunman in the building.
Another MP, Don Davies.
I felt a feeling of being sick at the violence. I mean, it was really sickening and disturbing.
The deceased gunman identified as 32-year-old Michael Abdul Zahaf Bibo. CBC News anchor Peter Mansbridge talked to Scott Pelley for the CBS Evening News.
If a gunman walked into Arlington National Cemetery, went to the tomb of the unknown, and shot one of those guards standing guard over the tomb, then went into the Capitol building and got in a shootout with guards there, that's what happened here.
Several blocks of Ottawa still locked down. CBS News Update, I'm Harley Carnes.
570 WNAX News. Good afternoon. I'm Lacey Kuntz at 5:36. It is currently 58 degrees and very cloudy, if not raining outside. And we'll see cloudy conditions tonight with a gradual clearing with a low around 44. And then tomorrow, sunshine with a high near 72. Friday, mostly sunny, a high near 74. And Saturday, sunshine with a high near 70. State health officials are urging Nebraskans to get vaccinated for the flu. Nebraska has had its first confirmed case of the flu. Actually, 3 confirmed cases, all in Douglas County. Nebraska Chief Epidemiologist Dr. Thomas Safranek sees it as a wake-up call.
These are at a very low level, this amount of influenza, but it does suggest that obviously the virus is here. Where it goes from here, it's unpredictable. Ordinarily, it's going to be a few more weeks, usually into December and January before we really see serious amounts of it.
Safranek says news of a few Ebola cases have evoked more hysteria than justified.
Obviously, we're all concerned about Ebola. It's an incredibly interesting and unprecedented problem. I would say right now there's more of an epidemic of fear and concern and worry more than a real threat for Ebola in our population.
Safranek warns Nebraskans are much more susceptible to the flu. He urges everyone to get a flu shot, but especially the elderly, the very young, pregnant women, and those with chronic health issues. Children under 8 should receive the flu vaccine through a nasal spray if available, according to health officials. And scattered flu cases have already been reported in South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota. Emergency managers across South Dakota are getting guidelines on how to plan for a possible Ebola outbreak. Yankton County Emergency Services Manager Paul Scherschlicht told the county commission that they meet today to begin the planning process.
Well, our meeting is actually a meeting consisting of the planners, and that is the people that are going to be involved in developing plan for the emergency service folks, including the hospitals and clinics and stuff like that. So in the event, we're not going to close our borders, but in the event we would have a case come up someplace, but we know how to deal with it.
Scherschlicht says they're just getting guidance from the Centers for Disease Control.
There's not a lot that has been given out yet as far as procedures for the emergency services or the first responders, in the field, where you take search and rescue, Lesterville, Gayville, that all have first responders. If somebody would come into a house, what are the things they need to do? So
he says they may form a team to help first responders.
We're actually looking into putting together the possibility of a team. So if we see somebody goes in, they see something, the crew backs out, they call for this specialized team, which would respond, and they would know how to put on the stuff. They would have the decon stuff. They would have everything they need to treat it or to take care of the patient that may be.
For more news and information, go to the news page at WNAX.com or at 570 WNAX News on Twitter. At 5:39, currently 58 degrees and cloudy, I'm Lacey Coons for 570 WNAX News.
News, weather, markets. We live and breathe this stuff. 570 WNAX.
I'm Ann Tornberg, a teacher and a farmer from Beersford. I'm running for State Senate in District 16. I grew up on a farm in Beersford. Then I married a farmer 38 years ago. We need more farmers in Pierre. There's no one who cares more about this community or could represent you better than a teacher, farmer, mom, and grandma who's been your neighbor all these years. I'd appreciate your vote on November 4th.
Paid for by Ann Tornberg for District 16 Senate.
The Jeep Celebration event and Billion employee pricing were such a success, we brought it back at Billion Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. This is Dwayne Mellema. You have the month of October to take advantage of one of the most powerful sales of the year. Whether it's a new Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, you pay what a Billion employee pays. With over 700 new vehicles to choose from, the only way you lose is by not coming in. Billion employee pricing absolutely ends on Halloween. Billion Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, the big Dodge store that always saves you more in Sioux Falls or at BillionAuto.com.
For over 30 years, Abilene Machine has been your trusted source for affordable, high-quality ag replacement parts. And now, Abilene Machine has opened a 5th location in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Call Abilene Machine toll-free at 844-340-4020 for new, remanufactured, and recycled parts. Pick up your order at their new store or receive it in 1 to 2 days when shipped. Visit Abilene Machine at 1720 East 63rd Street North, right off I-90 and I-229, or see them online at AbileneMachine.com.
Two more big sales week, Fort Pierre Livestock, Fort Pierre, South Dakota this Friday. Big calf and yearling sales Saturday, 1,200 outstanding quality bred cows, heifers, and fall pairs, and a good run of webs. On Friday, there'll be 1,500 yearlings, 8 o'clock sharp in the morning Central Time, followed by 7,500 to 8,000 high quality calves, 10 o'clock in the morning Central Time. In the yearlings, Taylor, 450 black steers, 775, 9.5, plus 200 heifers, 8 to 9. Winches, 240 black and 120 Char and red. Spay heifers weighing 9, 9.5. VS Ranch, 186 black open heifers, 9 1/4. Many more yearlings. The calves weigh 3 to 700 pounds. All are shots, many outstanding replacement heifers. Bill Fisher, 600 blacks, all in town. Barber and Simmons, 280 Char and 150 black. Murray, 425 black Vite, 400 black and Baldy. McCuistion, 400 black Kias. Birkeland, 400 blacks. Reinhardt, 350 drug-free black. Snook, 350 Charlotte Cross. Hunt, 300 blacks. Kirkpatrick, 280 Red Angus. NHTC, Brunch, 270 drug-free black. Gray, 260 black calves. That's many, many more. 1,500 yearlings. 8 a.m. and sharp in the morning, followed by 7,500 to 8,000 calves. At 10 o'clock Central Time this Friday, Fort Pierre Livestock.
Good evening with a check your WNEX Sports. I'm Eric Rosen. Well, K-State football coach Bill Schneider is among the 81 coaches and players up for election to the College Football Hall of Fame. Also, former Heisman Trophy winners Rashaan Salaam of Colorado, Ricky Williams of Texas, and Eric Crouch of Nebraska among the 75 players nominated to be inducted. Also joining the list is Oklahoma linebacker Brian Bosworth and Southern Cal receiver Keyshawn Johnson. The NFF tweaked its rules for eligibility a few years ago to allow active coaches such as Schneider to be eligible for election after they turned 75. Now, the prosecution request to remove the judge handling the Fenley child abuse case against Minnesota Vikings star running back Adrian Peterson has been denied. Montgomery County State District Judge Kelly Case will remain on the case following a recusal hearing today in suburban Houston. Again, they had accused the case of being biased against the prosecution. And Game 2 of the World Series on tap for tonight. The Royals will send out Orlando Ventura to the mound against Jake Peavy. Ventura was 14-10 during the regular season, but left his last start against the Orioles in the ALCS with shoulder tightness. Peavy was 7 for 13 this year, but has loads of postseason experience. Last year, he pitched for the world champion Red Sox. That's Check Your WNEX Sports on your home for Minnesota Twins baseball.
And whatever happens tonight, I just want it to be a little bit more competitive game.
They kind of jumped out to a early lead. And
kind of took the wind out of the sails in the crowd there. But, I want good games. Even if my team loses, I want good games. Give me a reason to stay up late. That's all I'm saying. Give me a reason. It's 5:44 at 570 WNAX. Hey, don't forget the 5-State Trader has moved to 2 o'clock. It's all part of the new 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. live programming to better serve you Monday through Friday. And you can still, of course, use the Express line. 800-843-0089. $50 per item. We let you cut in line during the show. You're guaranteed to get on that day. Plus, yeah, we put you on the front page at WNAX.com and mention your item several more times over the next 24 hours. It's the Express line on the 5-State Trader. Listen every weekday in the 2 o'clock hour here on 570 WNAX. So I think everybody, most everybody in this building has a pretty good sense of humor. Would you agree?
For the most part.
I mean, we may not like individual jokes, but I think most people take things with a good sense of humor around here. Well, according to Men's Health, I stole your copy again, Eric. 72% of men surveyed said that humor does make you better at your job. I think it allows things to kind of brush off, a little bit easier. 80% of men think that they're funny. Lacey, do you think 80% of men think do you think 80% of men are funny?
No.
Had a feeling.
What?
Had a feeling you were going to answer that.
90%, you think?
75% of men feel that men are funny, naturally funny funnier than women. Easy for me to say.
No.
See, I think women can be just as funny as men. 53% of men say they find it hard to remember jokes. You hear one and you think it's great, but then when you go to tell it, sometimes it gets a little lost there. 61% of men can remember 5 or fewer jokes. That's pretty weak.
It is.
That is real weak. Also, when it comes to annoying humor, I've always told that puns were the lowest form of humor, and I never believed it. Well, this tells me I shouldn't believe it. 30% are most annoyed by insult humor. 25%, the jokes that start out like the 70s called and blah, blah, blah. They want their something back. And 19% said jokes having to do with a part of the male anatomy. Eric, we got a couple of calls?
Yeah, we got Mike and Goodwin.
Hey, Mike. Welcome to the program, sir.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Lacey and Eric and Fred.
Hello.
How
you doing? Good. Good. I'm going to rebut something that I heard yesterday, and I want to make this against that WNX caller and those that believe in isolationism. Way back when Theodore Roosevelt decided to involve us in the Cuban, the Cuban freedom, that made us a global reach, global power, which comes with it, global responsibility. That means we no longer can be isolated.
Oh, we could be. We could become the Brits.
Yeah, but the point being is that we decided to do this way before any of us were born, and we've always had that position since that the Spanish-American War.
That's not entirely true, Mike, because in the 30s and early 40s until Pearl Harbor, there was such a strong isolationist streak in the United States that we stayed out of what then was the European conflict of World War II.
But we did join, and in fact, FDR worked around the isolationism and actually was helping the Allies.
Well, and we're still doing stuff kind of around the isolationists that are in Congress and so forth. But the fact is, in fact, I've heard rumor, one of those conspiracy theories that Roosevelt knew that Pearl Harbor was going to happen and sort of let it happen. Not that we made it happen, but knew that an attack on something resembling American soil would actually get, us over the isolationism.
But the fact is that we desired to be a global power. We developed the nuclear bomb. We decided to do all this. So we have the global responsibility to react in the world when things aren't right.
Yeah, well, maybe.
And, you know,
maybe the country, to a certain extent, is losing that desire. I'm not saying it's right, but that seems to be, we're getting into a late 1930s mentality. And I have a feeling, Mike, and this is where you are right, that the end result will be much like it was when Pearl Harbor happened, that eventually we're going to have to put our nose right back in there. Hey, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Who is next?
And we have Jim in Watertown.
Hey, Jim. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Fred, I just got one quick question. I was just wondering, between now and Election Day, if you're going to have any more candidates on the radio, or are you going to have any proponents or opponents of the proposed amendments and stuff like that? I'll hang up. I'm just wondering so I can...
Okay, well, I appreciate the call. Those that we've already had on since the primaries, we're not going to have on again. If the others who haven't been on would like to, we're certainly open to that. As far as the Senate race, I believe it just leaves Larry Pressler that we haven't had on, who's on the ballot. We certainly would look at the gubernatorial candidates, the Nebraska Senate candidates, if they want to. Joni Ernst would always be welcome here. By the way, she has a new commercial where she's standing in a hog barn talking about how sometimes the place could stink, but not this place, the place in Washington. Great commercial. And in any event, we certainly would be willing and open to having additional candidates on. And discussion is always welcome as far as the ballot issues are concerned. We certainly are open to those conversations. So Toys R Us, under pressure from an individual, is pulling collectible dolls based on the characters of AMC's hit series Breaking Bad. Now, I've never watched the show. I'm familiar with it. I do get AMC, but I haven't watched AMC. The show is on the AMC network and is a guess about a chemistry teacher who decides to go into the meth business. Am I
right? Yep.
Am I correct in this? And so they have action figures depicting this chemistry teacher who's now a crystal meth dealer. Now, Toys R Us basically said that, hey, these things are in the adult collectibles section. Toys R Us is not just for kids. But a woman in Florida launched a petition on Change.org last week demanding that Toys R Us immediately stop selling the dolls. Got 8,000 signatures, and so Toys R Us says, yeah, we're going to remove it from the website and the shelves. What do you think?
I think it's silly. I mean, like you said, it's not like they're right next to Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the adult section. I don't see any harm in it.
Lacey?
I think if that's the case, you'd have to remove a whole lot of other things from store shelves.
Yeah.
So,
but here's
ridiculous.
Here's what I like about it. Okay, government didn't get involved. Government didn't say remove this. There was a certain amount of public pressure that came. Market forces won. Libertarian Fred can look at this and say, "Oh, wait a minute. This is the way it's supposed to work. If there's a demand for the product would sell." I'm guessing that if they were selling thousands and thousands of these things, they wouldn't have caved to 8,000 signatures. But because maybe it wasn't selling, and well, here's an excuse to get rid of it anyway, and we'll look like we're being responsive to the public. And the system worked. The free market system worked.
I bet there's more people trying to get their hands on those dolls now.
Oh, they're going to be worth a fortune in a few years, don't you think? Because they have been pulled off the shelf.
I didn't even know they had them until the news story came out that the lady was opposing them.
You didn't know you wanted one.
I didn't know I wanted one. Now I want one. I wonder if I can still get one. I wonder if they still have them in the back room at Toys R Us.
Then there's the high school football coach in South Carolina who was fired because of a post-game victory celebration. And they here's what they say, that the celebration involves smashing watermelons and making ape-like sounds. Well, the superintendent was contacted by a board member who said a parent of an opposing player was offended by the celebrations. This school is mostly white, and apparently the opponent's school was not. And the fact that it was watermelons with smiling faces drawn on them, and then they ate the fruit as a post-game snack and did the ape deal. I don't know. Racist or not racist, Eric?
No.
Lacey, you don't think so? Eric?
Depends on how it was intended.
Well, exactly. But, I mean, just from that story right there, I wouldn't say it was.
Well, and the thing of it, Crawford made the point when he was playing high school football that watermelon was often a snack after a hot day practice or something like that. It's a refreshing fruit. And if they had a little fun with it and smashed it, and, I guess the only place where maybe it crosses a little bit of a line is the smiling faces on it. You're humanizing the fruit instead of just bash the fruit and being Gallagher in a high school uniform. I don't know. We'll see where that goes. We'll find out what we learned on the program coming up next here on 570 WNAX.
This is the Wall Street Journal Report. I'm Bruce Vail. Following 3 straight days of gains, stocks lost ground today as investors took some profits off the table. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 153 points to 16,461. The Nasdaq Composite dropped 36 points. The S&P 500 lost 14. At the Bryn Mawr Trust Company, Ernie Cecilia says this kind of give and take in the market is only natural.
I think in the main, it's healthy. A lot of stocks, moved back up into nice territory, so a little bit of taking a break.
Cigarette maker Reynolds American is instituting a no-smoking policy for its employees. Beginning next year, the use of cigarettes, cigars, or pipes will not be permitted in the company's offices, conference rooms, and elevators. Lighting up is already prohibited on factory floors. Reynolds will allow the use of smokeless tobacco products. Again, stocks were lower today with the Dow down 153 points. This is the Wall Street Journal Report.
We help farmers make the best use of their land, which means healthier crops, higher yields, and less harvesting hours, which is good news for a growing population and good news for the environment. BASF, the chemical company.
Attention homeowners. I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. We've told you about HARP in the past. There are so many more of you who could be saving hundreds of dollars every month on your mortgage. It's simple and easy. And for 4 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. To learn more, call 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed all 50 states and MLS number 3030.
The days are getting shorter, but the savings at Max Hardware are growing, especially now during the Max Fall Sale. A DeWalt grinder is just $69.99. Haviland antifreeze is only $6.99 a gallon after mail-in rebate. Pallet racking and wide-span shelving are 15% off. And now, Max is your source for Carhartt clothing. The Max Fall Sale, where you find great prices, service, and knowledge for the hard work you do. It's not just another hardware store. It's Max.
Billion Fiat is the newest car franchise in Sioux Falls, and most people have never seen a new Fiat. If you're in the market for a new car, come to Billion Fiat and take a look for yourself. This is Dwayne Mellema. We have every available model in both the new 500 two-door and the much larger 500L four-door. Fiats are sporty, safe, and fun to drive. They have a great warranty and even cover your maintenance for the first 3 years. Now, for the month of October, we're doing Billion employee pricing on all new Fiats in stock. Billion Fiat in Sioux Falls or at billionauto.com.
I'm Ray Up, running for Yankton County Commissioner. My wife, Pam, and I are third-generation family farmers. Our youth are our future. As in the field, without planting, there will be no growth. I see opportunity in Yankton County, starting with job creation that will attract our youth and give them an opportunity to remain in the area or come home after pursuing a higher education. With more opportunities in the area, everyone benefits. Please vote for me, Ray Up, from the country for the county, on November 4th, paid for by Ray Up for Yankton County Commission.
This week, Thursday, at the Pressure Livestock Auction, we'll have 700 head of high-quality yearlings and 750 head of high-quality calves. Most yearlings will be steers weighing from 900 to 1,100 pounds and sorted into pot loads. And there'll be 700 calves being black and black-hided, weighing from 450 to 650 pounds, also sorted into pot loads. For more information, go to www.pressurelivestock.com or call us at the Silver on 1-800-753-6455. That's this week at the Pressure Livestock, 14 to 1,500 head of high-quality calves.
And we're ready to wrap up another drive time here on 570 WNAX. And time for what we've learned today. Lacey learned that she has to get her little behind to a meeting.
Hardington, yeah.
So she was excused. Eric, what'd you learn today?
I learned that if I'm going to buy Kansas City Royal panties in Kansas City, I'm going to buy official Kansas City Royals panties in Kansas City.
And I learned that the way to get a lot of goodies at Kauffman Stadium is to wear another team's jersey.
And sit behind home plate.
Exactly. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow. Please keep both hands on the wheel.